Hi everyone, it's Kurt here. I thought about making this video up here for everybody, and you know, probably you've been fishing some great midge patterns. One of the classics is a Griffiths Gnat, and if you guys have tied this and you've fished it, what you probably found out is that after one or two fish, your fly is going to look like this. It's going to get tore up. Hackle probably becomes free, and it just doesn't fish very well after that. So, great pattern, but made out of notoriously weak materials, peacock curl and small tiny hackles. So, what we want to do is create something, a better wheel, a better Griffiths Gnat. So I'm going to be tying this on a 18 TMC 100. It's a 1X shank light wire hook for dry flies. And I'm going to show you a couple techniques that you can use to, you would never do this commercially because it just wouldn't be practical. Plus, you want some planned obsolescence in your flies if you're a commercial fly tyer, so people have to keep buying them. But in this case, we want something that's going to last a while. So what we want to do, this is the first thing, is go ahead and pull off, okay, 6-8 inches of thread, all right, and tie that in like you normally would. And guys, here's what's going to happen. Normally, what you would do is you would cut this off, right? You would cut this off right here. Well, let's not do that. Let's leave that there, okay? So we're just going to keep that out of the way for now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie in our peacock curl. And guys, you know how peacock curl looks great when you tie it in, but a lot of times it doesn't last very long because fish's teeth are tiny, and they just tear this hurl up something fierce in very short order. So what we want to do is let's go ahead and tie this in. Okay, wrap it back to the bend of the hook. And then let's go ahead and tie in our hackle. And for those of you lucky enough to have a Cree neck, this is great because, especially if you're tying like Adams, because you don't have to have both a brown and a grizzly hackle, you just have one hackle. But these are very hard to come by because most of them are bought up by the commercial tyers. So let's go ahead and, I always trim both sides a little bit to give it some anchor points to tie down. That way when you go ahead and tie this in here, it has a tendency not to slip and it stays a lot better. Okay, so now that we have the hackle tied in, what we're going to do is we're going to take our peacock curl, and you guys know this technique. Traditionally, what you do is you just wrap it around the thread here, okay? And normally what you would do is you would take that and then you would just wrap it forward, right? Well, what we're going to do is use a dubbing whirl, which is this little tool right here. If you have a spinner, that will work too. It's anything, and we're going to spin this hurl, okay? Make sure that you... one thing you'll find is if you cut these tag ends off, it's a lot easier. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to give that a little spin. And essentially what it does, guys, is it creates this beautiful, very durable chenille. Now, I could take my scissors and run up and down here, and it's not going to break. It's going to stand up. And what that does for us is it creates a body that looks great. And it's it's going to be very durable. If one of these fibers breaks on a fish's tooth, all of the rest of them aren't going to come free, okay? Not like it normally would if you just tied it in using the traditional technique. So we're going to cut that off. One thing, guys, on this fly, if you're just tying these for yourself, you can throw in an extra whip finish, okay, to secure that part of your fly. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our hackle and trap it in the pliers. Okay, then we're going to bring this hackle forward. All right. Untap the hook and place a couple overwraps, trim it or cut it. Okay guys, and again, you're just doing these for yourself. You don't have to, you can spend as much time on them as you want. Doesn't hurt to be a little more thorough. Okay, we'll just trim this up a little bit here. Now, this is what really adds to the durability of this fly, guys. That piece of thread that you left, that you didn't trim, okay, we're going to take it and we're going to wrap it through our hackles. What that does is each one of these wraps secures that feather onto the shank of our hook. Okay, so now if one part of it breaks, it's not all going to come unraveled. And what this will do for you is, instead of catching just 1 or 2 fish on this fly, guys, you're going to be able to catch 5, 6, I mean, I've caught 10 or 12 fish on the same fly, and that's great with the Griffiths Gnat because it is notoriously not a very durable pattern. Now, the last thing we're going to do to finish this fly, guys, is the fish at the lakes, they don't really like flies that ride real high. And, you know, I've tied this on an 18, but normally we're fishing these 20s, 22s. Well, 20s, and a short shank hook, so they look very small, but you can see them from quite a ways away. But they always fish better if you trim the bottom hackles off the fly. That way, see how now there's no hackles underneath pointing down? Okay, what this does is it lets the fly, all right, ride flat on the water, and it'll be much more effective. So that's it, guys. Hope that helps you out, and thanks for watching.